What's going on? I'm Jim Perona. Welcome to the weekly Axe Kicking. You know, I remember learning the song Spirit of Radio by Rush, and after I learned it, I just remember being fascinated by what I was playing. A song with, powerhouse riffing, very unorthodox chords that will sometimes come at you in an odd time signature. So today I want to talk about the style of Alex Lifeson of Rush and go into a little detail specifically about those unorthodox chord stylings. So today is the Alex Lifeson effect. Now, as I said before, I'd like to talk a little bit about the unorthodox types of chords that Alex Lifeson uses. First thing that comes to mind is opened up bar chords. For example, we take an F sharp major bar chord, and then let's just let the first two strings, the E and the B string, ring out open. So we'll take that bar and lift it. That's one he really likes to do. Let's look at a higher register chord with an open string in the middle. This is another big one. So I'm going to take an A, and then I'm going to do an A octave right here on the fourth string, and the C sharp, the third right here. I'm going to leave the B ringing out, so we'll have a ninth. And then whatever note on top. Let's double that C sharp on top. Ninth from the first string. It's another really nice sounding one. Very cool effect. By the way, this is not something you can play, with a bunch of metal distortion. I guess you can, but you need to be careful. You want to, if you're going to use distortion like I'm using, you should just have some that will still enable you to hear all of these chord tones ringing out nice and clearly. Now, another cool way to come up with some different sounding chords is doing the expanded power chord. For example, just have an E power chord on the fourth and third strings. Now I'm going to put another fifth on the bottom, adding a B right there. I'm going to put another octave on top on the fifth fret of the second string. Now I'm going to add an octave all the way below. So now I have a nice full sounding chord. And then you can adjust certain notes that'll completely change the landscape of the sound. I'm going to take this octave right here and lower it a half step. You can do a vamp just with those two. You can complete the bar and add the F sharp on top, so now we have a ninth on top. So here's a little something that I wrote inspired by Alex Lifeson's use of unorthodox chords and odd time signatures. We'll get into that more after the riff. So keep in mind, this isn't necessarily meant to sound exactly like Rush. What I'm doing is taking certain aspects of a guitarist, a musician that I admire, and trying to be creative with those aspects. See how it fits into my style. Anyways, let's take a look. Now there are different odd time signatures going on throughout this riff. It's going to start out in 5/4, then 6/4, then another round of 5/4 and 6/4. Then when it goes to the D chord section, we'll be in 7/8 throughout the rest of the riff. I'm going to play through it slow, and let's see where those odd time signature moments are. Now, unlike most weeks of the axe kicking, I'm not going to break this riff down and explain it note by note. I'm not going to write out a tab for it either. This isn't about learning what I'm doing note for note. It's about taking these concepts, you know, the opening up your bar chords, higher register chords with an open string, expanded power chords, whatever. Just having these creative chord ideas, odd time signatures, and being creative with it. So instead of learning what I'm doing note for note, come up with something on your own, using these concepts with the unorthodox chords and the odd time signatures. Post it on the zacharmusic Facebook page and get some feedback. So that about wrap it up for this week. Like I just said, check us out on Facebook, zacharmusic. Let's hear what you're doing. We would love to hear what you're coming up with, and we'll see you next week.